Imagine two men, a highly educated executive and a humble gas station attendant who sweeps floors for a living. Typically, we expect the executive to retire with a massive fortune, while the janitor struggles to get by. But money often ignores traditional intelligence. Ronald Reed was a rural janitor. He hitchhiked to his local high school every day and spent his life working in service stations. He had no elite connections or specialized training, yet when he died in 2014, he left behind an $8 million fortune. Compare that to Rajat Gupta. He was the CEO of a premier consulting firm with a net worth of $100 million. He possessed every intellectual advantage, yet he destroyed his career and his freedom in a desperate attempt to become a billionaire. These stories suggest that financial success is a soft skill. It relies on how you behave, your relationship with ego and emotion, rather than how well you can solve a math equation. We often judge other people's financial choices as irrational. However, every decision is shaped by the specific economic era a person lived through. A person who lived through a severe economic collapse carries a level of caution that a modern tech worker born into a decades-long bull market can never truly feel. This chart represents the world. Your individual experience with money accounts for roughly 0.000000001% of global history. Yet that tiny sliver dictates 80% of how you think the world works. No one is actually crazy. We are all just making decisions that feel logical based on the unique emotional scars of our past. Bill Gates is undeniably a genius, but he also attended one of the only high schools in the world with a computer in 1968. He was skilled, certainly, but he also benefited from a specific lucky set of circumstances. Luck and risk are siblings. They remind us that every outcome in life is guided by forces beyond individual effort. Hard work is a piece of the puzzle, but it is rarely the whole picture. This brings us to Warren Buffett, arguably the most successful investor of our time. This graph shows Buffett's wealth across his lifetime. For the first 60 years, the line is almost flat. He built his fortune by investing for 3/4 of a century, allowing the math of time to do the heavy lifting, rather than relying on a few lucky stock picks. Over $80 billion of his net worth was accumulated after his 65th birthday. Long-term success is the result of small, consistent actions repeated for decades. It is the endurance, not the intensity, that creates the result. Earning money and keeping it require two different skill sets. Acquiring wealth requires risk, optimism, and aggressive action, but keeping that wealth demands the opposite. It requires humility, a healthy dose of paranoia, and the realization that what was gained through luck can be taken away just as quickly. Many successful people fall into the trap of never enough. They have more than they will ever need, yet they risk it all to chase things they don't even want. This is the danger of the moving goalpost. As soon as you earn more, you compare yourself to a new, wealthier peer group, and the cycle of social comparison starts again. Financial survival, knowing when to stop the chase, is a more vital skill than maximizing investment returns. Modern society teaches us to judge wealth by what we can see: luxury cars, big houses, and expensive watches. This leads to the man in the car paradox. When you see a high-end sports car, you don't usually admire the driver. You imagine yourself in that seat, believing that if you owned it, you would finally have the respect and admiration of others. But in reality, no one is looking at you. They are only looking at the car. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less of it. True wealth is invisible. It consists of the cars not purchased, the jewelry not bought, and the unspent money that buys you future options. There is a massive difference between being rich and being wealthy. Rich is a high current income used for consumption. Wealth is unspent income saved for the future. A high savings rate is not dependent on a massive salary. It is dependent on your ability to suppress your ego. This chart illustrates the math. In the first scenario, a high income is canceled out by a high ego, leaving no savings. In the second, a modest income combined with a low ego creates a massive gap. Suppressing the desire for status and validation is the most powerful financial tool you possess. If the goal of money isn't to buy status or luxury, what is the point of saving it? The highest dividend money pays is absolute control over your own time. Autonomy, the ability to wake up and decide exactly what you want to do, with whom and for how long, is the ultimate luxury. A quiet mind and personal freedom are the true goals of mastering the psychology of money. The scoreboard that matters isn't what the world sees, but the time you own for yourself.